Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be diving into all things Jimmy Donaldson, also known as MrBeast. So today I'm going to be doing a kind of overview of the rise and fall of MrBeast. Now, one thing I will say is MrBeast, unlike everyone else I've made these kind of videos on thus far, is not on a fall of his career. He has been involved in a lot of scandals as of recently. However, I would argue that his career is still peaking to this day. I think MrBeast is a giant that we will never escape. So with today's video, it's a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about the scandals that MrBeast has been accused of, the timeline of his career, and again, in the traditional space, it's not a rise and fall because MrBeast is not falling, at least not yet. So let's just kind of look at this as the scandals and the mess of it all when it comes to Jimmy Donaldson. Now, when I was looking into stuff for this video, I actually completely forgot how many things Jimmy, I don't know why I'm like first naming him, my good friend Jimmy, I completely forgot how many things he has been called out for and involved with, and I kind of detail the timeline of little things he got called out for here, there, and everywhere. But then at the end, I really focus on the Beast Ghost Kitchens, Lunchly, MrBeast games, which I think has just been renewed for a season 2. I know Rosanna Pansino is outside Amazon studio with a pitchfork. So anyways, let's get into it. I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. And yes, okay, so Jimmy Donaldson is obviously MrBeast's name, as we all know. And basically everywhere I was looking online was kind of putting him as the face of YouTube and YouTubers. Now, this has changed over the years, like who, when you think of a YouTuber from a general public standpoint, who is that face? Years past, it was David Dobrik, it used to be Shane Dawson, and yeah, some great representation, obviously, for the company. But in any article that I would find that would be talking about what is a YouTuber, or YouTubers in general, or laws to do with YouTube, MrBeast's face is always in the thumbnail. So I think it's pretty fair to say that as of the date of filming this, MrBeast is the most popular YouTuber and probably most recognizable YouTuber. I was going to say of all time, but I don't know if that is true. I think it actually arguably is. I think as of right now, he is definitely the biggest and most well-known YouTuber of all time. Who is texting me at this time? Oh, it's my friend Kat. It's my friend Kat. Yesterday it was so funny. My phone was going off during the video and I was like, muckers, it's either my friend Kat or my mom. And people were commenting, who was it? It was my mom. Literally the only two people that text me. So obviously, with MrBeast, a lot of the conversation comes to what is performance and what is exploiting for money and what is like genuinely caring about the things that he's making videos on. So we are going to get to 2012. So this is when Jimmy started posting videos at the age of 13 years old. Now, the content really was quite random at the start. It was a lot of gaming. It was Minecraft. It was Call of Duty. It was basically what every boy his age was uploading if they were on YouTube at that time, which was gameplays, little vlogs, very, very, very kind of awkward content at the start. Obviously, from a 13-year-old, I've been there. I was uploading on YouTube at 13 as well, except mine was gay as hell. And so the content at the start was very, very, very... It was clearly coming from a place of passion and actually what he wanted to do, which, you know, ultimately then changes whenever he gets the big bucks for certain types of content. And then obviously he ended up rebranding completely. In 2017, this was whenever he had his first viral video, and the video was actually him counting to 100,000, and it was over 40 hours long, and he went viral for this because obviously we have this person who is counting to 100,000 on a YouTube stream in hopes of getting attention and subscribers, and it worked. People, for his dedication and how bizarre it was, blew this video up. He went viral, and this was probably the first time that Jimmy, as we knew him back then, was really starting to get on the map of YouTube, but he was still pretty well known. But over the next couple years, or next couple months, sorry, he would really kind of transition into content that was reactionary, but not like commentary reactionary from, giving away money or pulling on the heartstrings. He's, paying for people he's paying for groceries. He's giving random people in the street money. The content was very reactionary in terms of he would do something, the person would react, and then he would make money off of the person reacting to him giving them money. That's what the content ended up becoming. And this kind of content worked really well for him, so it, ramped up. He made more of it. And I think the early success was, really built on a lot of kind of, at the start, like I said, more so gaming and kind of vloggy content, and I would kind of argue challenges as well. But once he started integrating into challenges like money prizes or something like that, and that did really well, that was then when he completely rebranded everything to always being about money, always, winning. And, some of his biggest videos were, I gave a homeless man $10,000. And then we know that his content like Last to Leave the Circle wins $100,000 all started blowing up during this time. And he was making a lot of money, is what I could imagine, on YouTube at this time, because his content was so marketable. Not only was it so easy for a brand to sponsor him because his content is very, very, very easy to sponsor, it's not controversial or whatever, but YouTube were probably putting the most amount of ads on this content because, again, he wasn't swearing, he wasn't being inappropriate, he wasn't, pushing the boundaries in a sense. It was all very kid-oriented, and that's the kind of content that makes the most on YouTube. So he probably was pulling in a lot of money during this time, but I would argue he was probably spending a lot as well during this time, and maybe there was some loss. But ultimately, the algorithm was really working for him, that I think he knew that if he invested momentarily and maybe lost a little bit of money momentarily, that ultimately he would become what he is now. And obviously, we've seen that happen. Now, he ended up creating an in-house production model, and he ended up having these brand sponsors like Honey, Shopify, and it's so crazy how much Honey has been a part of MrBeast's brand, considering that not that long ago, we learned that Honey is basically an alleged scam, and I don't think Jimmy ever said anything about that, which goes to show that these YouTubers will sell out their audiences for a sponsorship. And by the way, I only have one sponsorship, and it's my Adam and Eve deal, adamandeve.com, code Adam50 for 50% off one item and free shipping in the US and Canada. Mama, the code works. I don't take a lot of sponsorships. I get a lot of sponsorships reaching out, but unfortunately, the majority of sponsorships that I get offered are AI brands, and I'm not going to do a sponsorship with an AI brand. So I pick and choose, and if there was ever anything with a brand that I've worked with, there hasn't been, because obviously I pick and choose. But I just find it really interesting that creators never really acknowledge when a brand that they've worked with once or twice does something shady or exposed for it, but consistently worked with and has been a big part of your brand and gets exposed and you have nothing to say. I find it I just incredibly dishonest. But anyways, these sponsors were the ones that were funding the cash prizes or the cars or whatever. So ultimately, they were the reason that he was able to make this content, which is why he would probably never turn his back on any of them. Now, the algorithm, I can only tell you, ate this up. And MrBeast would be shown on every fucking YouTube timeline from this moment on, right? Now, it really did kind of start to have a conversation about that it was literally like YouTube's like capitalism, and that his content would show a clear wealth divide as well. And there were a lot of people that had issues with the content because, yes, if he's giving a homeless person this amount of money or he's buying this amount of people's groceries, it's all great and he's making content out of it. So he's probably making more money with the content than what he's giving away. So yes, it's a great thing to do, but you also have to take into consideration that he is getting famous and more money the more that he does this. So then there's a question of, is it just all performance? That is a lot of the conversation around MrBeast. Now, again, he's still doing the things at the end of the day, so it's great. But again, this is not like he's just a kind soul who wants to give away money. He is probably also doing this for tax reasons and tax write-offs. If I had to guess, if he gives away money in a video, then he can say it was for a video and it was, a tax write-off. Creators do this, right? But I think as well with MrBeast, it's just interesting to note that he is gaining more than the people that he helps in his videos. Always keep that in mind, okay? So MrBeast was really the person who started changing YouTube in general. Content started becoming very flashy. Thumbnails became very bright. the titles became very extreme, and we started seeing an era from 2018, 2019, 2020 of like MrBeast copycats, where there was a good period on the internet where the only content that would get recommended in the algorithm was content that looked like or was similar to MrBeast content. It was a horrible time on the internet, and while he still gets pushed out, luckily the algorithm is not as up our fucking pussy with it anymore, but God, it was fucking annoying. Ugh, it was so annoying. Again, the content, MrBeast, like he has said in his, I don't know if it was that leaked document where he's saying how to edit videos or whatever for his, like, employees. You know, he says that the first 5 seconds are the most important. You know, that is where he will overload the audience to get them to stay. You know, the intro, that's where he gets them. So if you go and watch a MrBeast video, look that the first 5 to 10 seconds are the most intense, probably the entire video, because he knows that then he can get people to stay watching the video, which again is just smart editing. It's like instant gratification when you click the video. It's like you're getting the immediate, you know, drama, which people love. I would say as well that because the algorithm started to really love MrBeast content, like the giving money away and all the prizes and the cars, and keep in mind this was coming off of the era of David Dobrik doing this to his friends, but then we have MrBeast doing it for, you know, alleged subscribers, if we know that is true or not, okay? It kind of made the algorithm know that the audience loved this kind of content, therefore recommended it to the general public. And any content that was copycatting this would also get recommended in the algorithm. So there was actually a knock-on effect that people don't talk about with MrBeast enough, which was his content ended up affecting smaller creators who couldn't afford a high-budget video or to give away $100,000. Therefore, the algorithm started to really fuck over smaller creators, in my opinion. So, again, in 2018, this was when he was blowing up. This was also when some old tweets resurfaced of MrBeast. There were some homophobic ones. He later apologized and said that he was just a teenager being edgy. And then in 2021, a bunch of former employees actually spoke up about him creating a toxic work environment. They were saying that he micromanages, he yells at people, and in 2013, he was criticized practically the entire year online every time he would post a video for kind of monetizing this kind of good work. You know what I mean? And his video, 1,000 people see for the first time, where he like paid for the surgery and stuff, immediately was blasted as kind of poverty porn. And I made a video on this as well, where the thumbnail of someone seeing for the first time and, you know, monetizing off of people, you know, being able to see for the first time really was kind of like, oh, he is doing this to profit off of these people and their stories. And he ultimately is, you know, walking away with a lot from this as well. So there started to be a lot of backlash in 2023 about his content. People were saying, is it charity? Is it a business model? I think it's both. You know, people defend him, say at least he's still doing it, and, you know, he has so much money, and there's people that have that much money that don't even help people, and that's very true as well. I think as well that he does a really interesting thing where he kind of manipulates the audience into believing that they have the chance to win what the people in the videos do, which therefore creates like an insane parasocial relationship of people wanting to get as close to him as possible so that they can ultimately receive what people do in videos, which again is just another really scary case of parasocial. When we go on, though, he also has been accused of allegedly underpaying contestants in the reality show and the crew underpaying contestants and crew, not in the show, but in earlier content, allegedly as well. And a lot of people, YouTube creators, you know, have called him out for this. We've called him out for it. Basically, the fact that he benefits way more than anyone else in his videos. Again, I think that it's really interesting because he can be argued as a charity, but he also is the brand. It's really interesting, okay? So, MrBeast in 2020 launched MrBeast Burger. Now, if you know anything about Adam McIntyre or what I've talked about on my YouTube channel, you know that I loved a MrBeast burger. I have an entire video on my YouTube channel, I think it's on my second channel, where me and my friend Kat order like everything from the MrBeast burger menu and eat it all. And girl, it was so sloppy. It was so disgusting in the best way possible. That burger, the pickles, the fucking animal style fries, the ham and cheese or grilled fucking whatever it was called, grilled cheese. Oh my God. I'm not kidding. It was sloppy at best, disgusting at worst. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. And I've ordered it multiple times whenever I was in America. Now, I don't know if there's still a thing because they were ultimately exposed for being a ghost kitchen. And not only were they exposed for being a ghost kitchen, the food was exposed for just being horrific quality. And again, I'm like, y'all expecting MrBeast to give you gourmet shit? Girl, I know this shit is nasty and I'm still eating it. So obviously, MrBeast burger faced a lot of criticism. I really never understood this because if you're paying for food that is under MrBeast's fucking name, baby, expect the bare fucking minimum. And we'll get to Lunchly in a second. But I enjoyed it and I never had any bad experiences. But anyways, MrBeast ended up ending the partnership with Beast Burger in 2023. Also, when people were like, it's a ghost kitchen, I'm like, you think MrBeast is in the back fucking cooking up those patties? So he ended the partnership with MrBeast Burger in 2023, and he ended up suing his partner company over per product standards, which is crazy, because soon after this, he launched Feastables! Feastables, which is his chocolate brand. You can still buy it to this day. Now, the rollout for this was a lot better than MrBeast Burger, and it's generally well respected. He says he works with ethical cocoa providers, and I'm just gonna take him on his word for that. And the chocolate, he builds it up as the best chocolate you'll ever, eat, and it's fair trade. Love that it's fair trade. The chocolate tastes fucking disgusting. I am no perfectionist when it comes to a chocolate bar, but it tastes like chocolate coin money. You know chocolate coins, and it's like that cheap, almost metally, kind of nasty, artificial chocolate taste. MrBeast Feastables is an entire bar of that. I cannot get behind it. No matter if they put almonds in it, I cannot get behind it. And I'm not being a hater here. I just told you I loved the sloppy fucking burgers. The chocolate is genuinely one of the worst chocolate bars I've ever ate in my entire fucking goddamn life. And I don't care how much he bigs up the product. That shit is so goddamn nasty. And it pisses me off that it is in every fucking shop ever. I'm like, wow, if we keep praising these creators doing the bare minimum, we will never get a good chocolate bar. Think about that. Think about that, bitch. So again, this became a big success. It is still, killing it in all the shops, even internationally. He ended up creating a bunch of side channels as well, just to kind of infiltrate YouTube more. He has Beast Philanthropy, Beast Reacts, a gaming channel, and they're all having their own team and pumping out content. And he is everywhere in the algorithm. My God. Now, also, MrBeast is someone who has told us that he spent years studying YouTube algorithms and, Google SEO and stuff. So he knows what he's doing, and he hires people to make him be able to rapid fire content as well. So obviously YouTube and these social medias are going to love him. Now I kind of want to move on to the scandals. Okay. So obviously in 2024, MrBeast launched Lunchly. And we know about Lunchly, and you know what, bitch? I've at Lunchly. It's the collaboration with KSI. What is KSI's involvement in it? I know Logan has Prime. KSI and Logan are Prime. Where they have Prime, which, by the way, one of the fucking worst drinks you will ever drink in your entire life. There was a big craze, a big international craze where, Prime bottles were going for, like, upsale pricing, right? And that ended up quickly dying out, thank God. But it was a hot commodity to get a Prime in the UK or Ireland. So whenever I went to America, bitch, I wanted to try every single fucking Prime. So I tried them, and I tried the ones that were like energy drinks, and I mean a sip of each. And then the ones that are supposed to be like equivalent to like a Gatorade. Bitch, I've never felt closer to a fucking heart attack or a stroke as after drinking a sip of all of them. So, I feel like Taddy Westbrook, so freaking gross. So gross. So nasty. So bad. Don't know how anyone drinks them, let alone children, to quote Cody Tyler, children. I honestly just cannot believe kids drink that. And you know what? As a kid, I was drinking Red Bull. I would sneak myself some Red Bull, right? That's gross. That's disgusting. Still, somehow, Red Bull feels like a classy drink compared to a fucking Prime. So Lunchly is obviously the equivalent of Lunchables. And MrBeast is involved. He has his chocolate bar in there. KSI and Logan have a Prime. And then they have, like, basically the equivalent of Lunchables. I tried it. It was incredibly hard to find them, but I ended up finding them, and I tried it in a video, and you know what, bitch? They were fucking nasty. Stale, no flavor, and they're, like, promoting that it tastes so good, and I'm like, bullshit. Bullshit. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. Did you just see me react to that? Oh my god. My phone just dropped on the ground. I hope it didn't. Oh, thank god. Wow, that was really scary. I thought someone shot me. I thought someone shot me through my parents' window. You never know. The ops are on my ass these days. So anyways, I just want to say as well, no YouTube creator, unless their brand is making sense about food or drink, should be launching a product that we are consuming. Brands that make sense. Emma Chamberlain's Chamberlain Coffee. You know why? Because her entire brand was drinking coffee. Or like a diet YouTuber or something like that, doing like a diet program. Why the fuck am I eating food from MrBeast? I don't want that. I did eat it though. And again, can confirm, was nasty. But anyways, Lunchly launched in 2024 and it was promising low-cost meals for a cheaper price. And again, they were promoting themselves as a healthier Lunchables. Bitch, one thing I'm gonna eat is a Lunchables. To this day, love a Lunchables. But what I do have to say is, when I eat Lunchables, I'm not expecting it to do good to my body. Actually, I'm aware that it's doing the opposite. I can only imagine, I can't even imagine what the fuck I'm doing to my body every time I eat a fucking Lunchables. So don't you dare try to tell me that Lunchly is a healthier Lunchables. That does not exist. That does not fucking exist. And you know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. My body is not a temple, bitch. So, anyways, the brand launched, and within months, there were reports of mold. Shout out to Rosanna Pansino. Mold in the Lunchlys. There was people allegedly not getting their orders. There was a lot of delayed orders, expired food, vague refund policies, and they were basically accused of, misleading the public. And again, the moldy Lunchly, I like my cheese moldy, bruh, became a big, big, big problem. And Rosanna Pansino got mold in hers, and you know what? They better rue the day that Rosanna got mold in her Lunchly, because you know that she was posting that every time she got. So MrBeast is obviously just like the face behind these brands. However, morally, it's so wrong to put your face on things children or people in general are going to be eating, and it's so carelessly done. It honestly, all jokes aside, really pisses me off that these creators do this and that people eat it. And again, I add it as well. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is Beast Games. Shout out to Rosanna Pansino again. So in March of 2024, MrBeast announced a partnership with Amazon MGM Studios to produce Beast Games, which was going to be a competition series featuring 1,000 contestants competing for a $5 million prize, which was the largest single cash prize in reality TV history. The show's budget was reportedly over $100 million, so lol. But anyways, I think it was really interesting because it said that there were going to be 1,000 people competing for the show, but actually they had 2,000 people competing, and 1,000 of those people only got, shown on a MrBeast YouTube video, which was false marketing. And also the show was an immediate disaster when it came to the production, because we had filming beginning in July of 2024 in Las Vegas, hot as hell, by the way, and it started getting reported almost immediately that contestants were in unsafe environments, dangerous environments, that they weren't getting enough food, not getting enough water, allegedly, and not getting enough medical care. And then we covered that at length, but it seemed that every day there was a new story of someone who is now leaving the show, or someone who left the show, or someone who's still in the show, who they're hungry, they're not sleeping, they're being injured, they're being taken to hospital. And then flooding of the stadium, allegedly cords are out, it's dangerous. Like, it was insane. We were covering it every day on my YouTube channel, and again, Rosanna Pansino was on his ass with that. She ended up interviewing, people that left the show about their experience, and I made a joke when I watched the show on my Patreon where I was like, anytime someone leaves the show, they're immediately flown to Rosanna Pansino's podcast studio. The show was a disaster when it was filming, and the press was horrible. It was horrible. And then September 16th, a class action lawsuit was actually filed in the Los Angeles Supreme Court by 5 anonymous contestants. They included MrBeast production company in that lawsuit. And basically they also included Amazon as well. The allegations were that there was negligent emotional distress, allegedly sexual harassment or failure to prevent harassment in general, allegedly, failure to pay minimum and overtime wages, false advertising, unfair business practices, misclassification of contestants as volunteers. December 19th, however, was when the show premiered on Amazon Prime, and it premiered to an overwhelming success. So many people were tuned in. It was so heavily marketed, and people loved it. January, this is the final note I had, MrBeast responded to the controversy saying that everything was blown out of proportion and that he's willing to provide behind-the-scenes footage to show that it wasn't a bad working environment, but that he's not allowed to say anything because of the ongoing lawsuit. And there we have it. Like, it's crazy because that feels like a rise and fall, but, like, he's still a huge creator. Like, people just don't care when you're a creator that big. But he's been involved in so much shit, hasn't he? I'm gagged. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Well, let me know your thoughts on our good friend Jimmy. I will see you in my next one. I hope you're all doing very well and feeling very sexy. Goodbye.